So team news first, Brian.
Yeah, not a bit of change. Brett Ferris comes back. He'll be off the bench. Brett Delaney has recovered from a neural problem he had. It wasn't an hamstring. We always thought it was an hamstring last week in warm-up, but he's had an epidural this week, which is interesting, isn't it? So we brought him some flowers and grapes while he was in hospital, and no. So Brett makes it through. Jack Walker has got a tight hamstring, so we're going to stand him down, and Ash Golden will play fullback.
What are you expecting from Salford?
Big win for them last week. That raised everybody's eyebrows, them beating Huddersfield with the scoreline that they did. And I know they've been on a really tough run of performances and losses recently. But their coach obviously won't have been happy, but I think looking in, they haven't been that far off in games and not losing by a massive scoreline. So I don't think we're facing a team who've been fantastically out of form. So they'll be good.
In terms of Liam, he said you were one of the big reasons he stayed. Were you always confident?
Did he?
He did, yeah. Were you always confident he would stay?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I thought about it like that. We knew he was questioning himself whether he wanted to stay or not, and we also know that there were people out there and clubs out there and all manner of people, agents and managers and people offering him different options to come away. So we had to just chew through that. I don't think we ever thought, yeah, he's going to stay. Never presumed he was going to stay. But at the same time, I never really flapped that he would leave either. So I think having that level of honesty and transparency with players is the key. So you can't fall out with them. You've got to be reasonable with them. You've got to understand that there are people out there and there are possibly initial better offers out there. And if while you're managing it through this situation, you've got enough awareness of that and you're reasonable with it, there's no reason to fall out. Even if Sutty left, we wouldn't have fallen out. But we know he's a Leeds lad. We know he's always wanted to stay at Leeds, and he was just working himself through a process.
You said you'd had a chat with him about positional wise. Have you got an idea where he might feature more regularly moving forward next season?
Well, I think he does a good job as a centre. But that's not his position just yet. I won't give that to him just yet. I know Jimmy Kainost, who's not playing this week, who's been left out of the team, he's a very good centre as well. So whoever plays centre on a regular basis needs to be a very good player. And I'm not going to shoe them in there. And such is in the environment at the moment where if he doesn't attain that certain level every single week, he's got Jimmy staring at him as well.
Because for what everyone says, about the likes of Castleford, and as well as they have done, it is ultimately in the semi-finals about who turns up, and then again in the grand final, isn't it?
It is. Rob Burrow just said something on the field there after captain's run, and he's absolutely right that you don't want to get to a stage where you've got to come up with a performance that we haven't come up with for quite some time. Now I'm confident about the form that we're in. I know the first half against Castleford was flat again. We got distracted and rattled for varying reasons. Second half I thought was great, and in many ways, if you had a script of, I want to see how tough we are, I want to see how much minerals we've got, that was good. It was good for us that we put that second half performance in. But previous to that, I think we've been a decent nick. I think we've defended with some tenacity. I think we've showed enough in attack. And got over some really good teams in recent weeks. Wigan, Hull, a couple of times, Saints, a couple of times. So I think at this stage of the year we've done enough to give ourselves confidence, and we'll get through these next two games. It's a funny one, these next two games. As I've already said, we don't want to lose them, but it's all about what happens in a game in the semi-final in a couple of weeks.